Have you ever wished your testimony was more exciting? I know when I was about 8, I did. I distinctly remember praying, like, okay, dear God, please just give me like a broken arm or like diabetes. Like, that's something you have to have every single day. Like, I have to overcome that every single day. And so I remember praying this, and like after like a week of waiting for it to happen, either of those didn't, so I was very disappointed, and I just accepted my testimony would probably be boring. But as I've grown up, I've realized that's not the case, but I've realized how relatable that prayer was. A lot of people think their testimony isn't important, or it doesn't matter, or it's not going to have an impact. And I'm here today to tell you that it does. That we need to start looking through our life through God's perspective and seeing the power it has. The 3 things I want to tell you today is that your story is unique, your story is impactful, and your story is God's. Paul gives us a great example of this in Philippians 1:12 through 15. So first, your story is unique. Philippians 1:12 says, "And I want you to know, my dear brothers and sisters, that everything that has happened to me here has helped to spread the good news." Paul understood that everything he went through would become a part of his testimony. Paul was persecuting Christians, and then he became a Christian and was being persecuted. Paul's story is not your story, but what is yours? What makes you unique? Don't say you're not unique, because you are. Because right in Ephesians 2:10, it says, "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus, so we can do the good things he planned for us long ago." God has a plan for you, just like he had a plan for Paul. It doesn't matter where you're at or what you're doing, as long as you're doing it for God. The second thing I want to share with you is that your story is impactful. Philippians 1:14 says, "And because of my imprisonment, most of the believers here have gained confidence and boldly speak God's message without fear." Because Paul shared his testimony and preached the good news, others were encouraged to do the same. What has God helped you overcome? Believe it or not, when you share that, it will be impactful. I know what it's like to be single, waiting for the right guy, or what it's like to worry about my future, or even what it's like to stumble through temptation in my faith. And I've learned that it's not always the big things in your testimony that have an impact, but the little ones that show people that you're a real human being and that you deal with things as well. Your story, no matter how out there or mundane you think it is, it's impactful. Take pride in it. The last thing I want to tell you is that your story is God's. Philippians 1:15 says, "It is true that some are preaching out of jealousy and rivalry, but others preach about Christ with pure motives." Paul saw other Christians speaking for the wrong reasons. We need to give God all the glory. We have our life because of Christ. A great example of this is in Luke 8, when Jesus healed the demon-possessed man. Luke 8:39 says, "Now go back to your family and tell them everything God has done for you." So he went through all the town proclaiming the great things Jesus had done for him. Our testimonies are key factors in encouraging others in their faith. Your story is unique because God is creative. Your story is impactful because God is mighty. And your story is his, so don't be afraid to go boldly share it.